Hey traders. Man, don't worry about that. Sometimes anyway, anyway, let's get straight into today. The reason I'm laughing, guys, is because it's like anyway, let's get into today's market today, guys. Hello everybody. Hope you guys are doing well, and I really do mean that, right? Like, it's good to take on these markets here, but really, please take care of your health. I've been through cancer and all that sort of stuff in the past, and it just makes me respect life a little bit more. So try to do things that balance out your health. Meditation and even a glass of lemon water first thing in the morning is going to help. Anyway, into the markets today, guys. So yes, I'm going to cover what was on the thumbnail for you, and I'm going to cover all the markets today, guys, and give you a really good update on this here when it comes to the markets. Now, traders, I put up a brand new presentation, guys, for 25 minutes that walks you through step by step the exact trading strategy that I use to help you when it comes to trading the markets, plus also 3 secrets to becoming a really good trader. If you'd like to see that presentation, then go to johnsfreetraining.com. There should be a first link in the description. Click on that. You can actually see that video that walks you through my actual trading system, and I'll teach you for free so you can start to use it today. Now, let's get into the markets here. I want to start off with, gold and silver, and I'll get to all the other markets here in just a minute, okay? So, gold and silver. So, the first thing that I do say, guys, well, when it comes down to these markets here is this, right? When I'm trading, there's 2 things that I like to do. There's 2 things that I'm firstly looking at. Is that, firstly, who's more in control of any particular market, right? And so, any particular market I'm looking at who's more in control, right? So who's more dominant in that particular phase? Is it more in a bullish phase, a no-one phase, or a bearish phase, right? Because if it's a no-one phase, then you have a very low probability of succeeding when there's a no-one phase, right? Let me explain what I mean here. So if I'm looking at silver right now, and I'm looking at this here, and I'm telling you, all right, here we go. Right, here we go, silver. So if I'm looking at the phase right now, okay, because we are traders, and for me, I'm a bit more of a, what's called a short-term trader. Now, that's for trading purposes, right? This is for trading purposes, guys. You guys that are gonna have a little bumblebee in the chat box, like, oh, this guy doesn't look at inflation data, and he doesn't incorporate wars and all that sort of stuff. Don't go there, right? Because if you do think that, guys, think about this. If you want to be successful for the next 10 years in the market, how can you incorporate something that's happening right now outside of the market, wars, inflation, Trump, whatever, right? How can you do that and have a systematic approach for the rest of your life? The reason why I know I'm going to do really well for the rest of my life, because I just have a simple system that I follow, and regardless of what is happening out there in the marketplace, I can actually use that to have a pretty good success rate and all that sort of stuff. Right? So, right now, if I'm looking at silver right now, okay, there's phases here, right? So we have, look, what do we have through here? So we have, there's a bullish, see how there's a bullish phase? I mean, we're stepping up. The trend is up. Then we go through, really not much going on phase, is there? Really, through here, maybe a bit of a slight downward phase. Then we go through a bullish phase. And now we're going through a bearish phase. So the most important thing for me is that if I'm looking for any opportunities right now out of silver, if I'm a silver trader, right? If I'm a silver trader, I cannot, all right? Firstly, trend is your friend until the end, and don't fight the big boys. Remember, the big boys are the one that push these markets around, right? Not you and me. Bum, right? Not you and me. So the whole thing about this is that if the market is in a bearish phase at that time, then if I try to go against that phase, right, like trying to pick top in the stock market right now, if I'm trying to do all that sort of stuff, then guess what? I know that's my ego. And that's the FOMO, and that's the HOPO. You know what I'm talking about, right? The ego is like, oh, let me pick the bottom here, right? Or the FOMO is like, oh, I better get in out before. And then that never works out. And the HOPO, right? What's the HOPO? The HOPO is like, well, I'm going to buy silver now and I hope it goes up. Geez. None of those are good, right? That's where, guys, the number one thing I do say, and if you go, again, that first link in the description, go to johnsfeedtrain.com, you can see my actual trading system there. You know the number one thing to success in the market is, what exactly am I looking for, right? I'm telling you right now, okay? As a person who's been involved with these markets now for 20 years, I don't know what's going to come next. At a silver, gold, I can do some technical analysis like I remember right now. Technical analysis. Silver, gold, stock market, Bitcoin, the good old Bitcoin, right? Which I'll get to in just a minute. Mining sector, commodities, all that sort of stuff. No one definitely knows what's going to happen. Not a Ray Dalio, not a David Hunter, not a Tom Lee, right? We all know that. And the more years you've been down this road, the more you will see that, no one knows what's going to happen, right? Even though people really love people like Tom Lee, and nothing against Tom Lee and all that sort of stuff. Guess what? They don't know what's going to happen. Tom Lee said 150,000 Bitcoin. Tom Lee said 3,000 Russell or whatever, right? So the purpose of me telling you this here is that the more time you spend in the sphere of the markets, of the financial markets out there, guess what? You start to realize that no one definitely knows what's going to happen. So how can we rely on, if we're watching these podcasts, which know that you are, and you're watching these videos and of a David Hunter and so on and so forth, and what's coming and so on and so forth, like, you start to realize over time that, yeah, these guys are smart, but even they don't know what's going to come. Okay, cool. So if they don't know what's going to come, how do I have a back step, a foundational approach? How do I have a foundation in my markets that I can repeat for the rest of my life, repeat today and tomorrow and the next day? Therefore, it's going to give me a massive high probability of having a successful year, and I can repeat that for the rest of my life. And that is what are the trading patterns that you are comfortable taking, and then start to apply some, let your profits run, risk management, loss of short, all that sort of stuff to it, right? That's the number one thing out there. What are the trading patterns? And if you can stick with that, like with me, guys, the number one thing that's helped me with my personal trading career, right? And by the way, that's second link in the description, getjohnshelp.com. You'll be able to actually see my real equity curve, right? So does this guy even trade? You can see my real equity curve, second link in the description. I've put it up there. I'm not hiding anything. I'm being honest with you, right? About my real equity curve. That's for all of 2024, that real equity curve. So you can see what I did for all of last year, right? So the only thing that's helped me out is that, one, I don't know, and I'm not going to try to be smart. Let me add all these other things involved. Like, no, right? The purpose of bringing this up here, guys, is that the number one thing you should be at, like, when you open up the chart, are you I'm looking for my trading pattern, the trading setup that I know that works, and I know exactly what it looks like. I'm looking for it. Or B, do you go, well, I'm going to open up the market and see how I feel? If you're B, it's going to be disastrous. Anyway, so the purpose of me saying that is that, yes, silver can go up right now, but we are in a bearish tone. So if I'm going to look for any entry signals, which, by the way, I don't have one for my trading system, it has to be on the bearish tone from there. Let's go look at the good old gold market from here, right? Let's bring up the gold market from here. Now, remember, there is bullish phase, there is a bullish phase, there's the no one phase, and then there's the bearish phase, right? So through the no one phase, look at this here, no one phase. What is no one phase? Sideways, no one's in control, right? We're not in a bull phase through here, right? Means we're trending up. So when we're in one of those definite phases, either up or down, we want to go with that phase. The trend is your friend until the end. If you want to increase your success rate, if you want to have the chances of having small losses and big profits, go with the market. Not your hopo, not your ego, all that sort of stuff, right? So right now, what's happening here? There is a bullish phase, there's a no one phase. That's right now, there's a no one phase, right? It's up or down. What's going to happen? Are we going to break up? But John, you don't understand. Russia, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool, right? Now remember, as a trader, if your goal is to make money this year from trading, don't use fundamentals. You can't use fundamentals to have a successful trading career. Why? You want to have remember, a foundational approach, a system, the patterns. Because for me, trading is the same thing every single day. Every day I open up the charts, I'm looking for the same setup. That's it. I'm looking for the same setup. Because I know when the setup appears, I'm going to have a high win-loss ratio. I'm going to have my profits are going to be much bigger than my losses. And I'm going to have a really good successful years for the rest of my life. That's all I need to do. Right? That's all I need to do. But if you try to be smart, oh, let me add all these other stuff to it, then guess what? Now you've turned, anyway, so there's a no one phase. And for me, if there's a no one phase, guess what? No one knows what's coming next. There's not even a probability of what's coming next. So therefore, this is the wrong time to be looking at any short-term trading opportunities, all right? For you guys that are buy and hold, this is not for you. Buy and hold is something different. Yeah, buy it right now. It may go up. By the way, when we do have the recession, gold is going to get crushed. Next recession, gold crush. It will get crushed, right? So if you guys, gold, here we go, gold. Gold's going to 3,000. Gold's going to 3,500. It may. But when the recession does hit, guess what's coming down? Probably 40, 50%. Gold, right? So just keep that in mind when it comes down to that. Anyway, that's the good old gold market. Let's actually look at the good old stock market from here. And the stock market, guess what's happened? This is the weekly chart here. Where are we right now? Ooh, we've just come down to the support level, right? See that through there? Sideways, support, come down, support. Ooh, all right. So this is the weekly chart here. Traders, like, we're getting very, very, very close to that turning point. Very, very, very close to that turning point, right? If we look at the fear and greed index, this is the fear and greed index. We're at the fear level. We're almost pinging back down to the extreme fear. So depending on what happens here, depending on what actually, so it depends on what actually happens here. Let's look at this here. So let me bring up this chart here, which is this chart. Look where we are right now. So what actually happens here? There's two scenarios that I'm looking for, but the ultimate result is higher. Scenario number one is we do hold and we start to see the rally up from now. Scenario number one. Scenario number two is that we get a bit of a false breakout to the downside. So we actually follow through, then we hold, and then we pick back up. Now, if that happens, this is what I'm going to be looking for. Either I see by mid-February us making a new high. That's the end result. How that forms, this is the thing I'm looking for right now. Okay? So when I'm utilizing that, and let me blow this chart up here, a bit more shorter term time frame chart, what am I looking for? Now, what I'm looking for is this. I can see that there's been a major level of support all through here. See that through there? In fact, let me just draw a little bit of a box through here. Let me draw the box. See that major support level that was there for how long is that? Yeah, 21 days, right? 21 days, 13 bars, 3 weeks. And then we broke down. If this is going to be what I just said there, a reversal, that's when I'm going to be looking at telling me when are we likely to be breaking down. So this is the stock market here, right? Stock market here. So if we can hold here and we start to get that, and we start to get maybe something like this, and we get a break above that through there, guys, get back above here. This was a false breakdown, and the market's telling us we're probably getting ready for a scoopy to the action, right? Scenario number one. Scenario number two is what? We actually get what? Oh no, here we go. Big drop on the downside. If scenario number two happens, what actually happens then after that? Because if we get that, and then we start to get something like that, and then a break above there, guess what this was? Just a short-term little shake and bake to get the 95% of traders out there fearful, right? Not if you're watching my videos, you're not fearful, right? You're ready for it. You're ready for it. Right? You're ready for the bounce. Because remember, guys, if you want to be part of the few percent of traders, step back. Don't have an emotional thing to the markets, right? Emotional thing to the markets, right? Because this is what actually happened. This is what actually this on the S&P. This is what actually happened on the S&P. Right here. That doesn't look like much, but let me go to here. This is the daily chart here, right? Look at this. So as we were coming down through here, guess what was happening? You're fearful, right? You're focusing on this, or you're focusing just on this here, right? And then so many, and this is where, guys, don't be getting sucked in by any leg. Look at the market. Look at the market. Because all this leg here was, and I was telling and this is one of the reasons why you need to be part of my coaching, because at the time when this was happening and everyone was jumping out of the buildings, oh my goodness, it's over, recession starting, blah, blah, blah. No, stop. We're in an upward trend, right? How does the trend form? It goes up and then we get the pullback. We go up and then we get the pullback. All the pullback is making the trend. Then we get the higher low. Then we get another higher low, right? And then away we go. Yes, John, I know that. Okay, cool. So on these drops, it's just dropping to make the higher low. Dropping to make the higher low. That is the trend. Look at this here. Look at this here. Up we go and down. Oh, higher low. Up we down. Down. Higher low. Up we down. Higher low. Up we down. Oh. See what I'm saying? So all this was and all this is and all this did through that. Yes, we did have a month of a drop, but what was the big picture doing? This is why I always keep an eye on the weekly chart, guys. Weekly chart, weekly chart. There's support level there and support level all through there, right? And so what we need to be doing is just keep an eye on this big weekly charts and to say what's happening. Because if we are getting a drop, don't get so sucked in by the short-term movements. Some of you guys are just like, whoa, man. One day in the market, we get a big drop and you're like, oh, I'm freaking out. Don't. Step back, look at the big picture, right? Because remember that big drop we had in the markets, a while ago? Let's go to this one here. Right? Remember this big, the market's got hammered. What's going on? Okay. Let's go back to the big picture here. What's going on? Let's zoom right in for the last couple of years or last 1 year. Oh, look, there's a low, there's a higher low. The moving average is still trending up. Oh, we're in an upward trend. See what I did there? But some people were just like, oh my God. And especially and this is one of the reasons why, guys, if you're looking at charts like this here, like this, zoomed right in, yeah, right, there's the S&P, there's the Nasdaq market drop. Oh my goodness, Dow Jones, big drop on the downside, right? Even the Russell, big drop on the downside. Please do not look at your charts like this. One, candlesticks. Oh my goodness, big red candlestick. No. Right? And secondly, don't look at the charts for like zoomed right in like this here. Look, see how close we are? We can't see anything. Right? Same for the S&P. Oh my goodness, John. Big drop on the downside. Oh my goodness. That's it. It's game over. Oh my goodness. The crash is coming. Here we go. No. Two biggest mistakes. One, don't look at candles. Why? Candles create emotion. Remember, we want to try to stay emotionally calm as possible. That's where good decisions are made. Don't be trying to, right? So look at this here. And then we have this here. So what's going to keep you much more emotionally calm in the markets? A, candlesticks and looking at the 3-month view through here. Or B, at least 1 year worth of data. And looking at black bars. Now we step back, you're like, oh, see the big picture now? I'm looking at 1 year worth of data. And all that was, what we talked about there just a minute ago was what? Just that bar right there. And you step back, you're like, oh, okay, well, that's actually not that big of a deal. I can stay emotionally calm. See, the amateurs of the markets, they're going to do that A scenario. Candlesticks zoomed right in. Emotion, they act on that emotion. They act on, oh my goodness, FOMO, I better get in now before the big crash happens. And then you know what happens, right? It's a disaster, right? No, step back. Always, and one of the reasons why I use black bars is because I want to stay emotionally calm. And one of the reasons why I use the bigger picture, at least 1 year worth of data, and the black bars, because then I can step back and see what's been happening for the entire year, utilizing trend analysis, like I said before, and then we can start to see, oh, look, up, down, higher, low, up, down, higher, up, down, higher, low, up, down. Here we are through here. Right? So then I can just stay emotionally calm right now and not look at one individual bar. One bar doesn't mean anything. What's the flow of the market? And then we can go with that. Make sense, guys? And the last thing I want to share with you today is I'm pretty sure I had this on the thumbnail, right? If I did, cool. If I didn't, I apologize. Or I probably covered something else. Anyway, so looking at the good old Bitcoin, what's happening with the good old Bitcoin? The first thing I do say is this, right? The first thing I do say is this through here, right? Now, by the way, yes, I am utilizing candlesticks on this here because that's what the software is giving me right now, and I haven't changed it. But see what I'm doing through here. See how I've just squeezed my charts up big here? So I'm not looking at the real short-term view here. So I'm not actually looking at the individual candlesticks, am I? I'm looking, if you're going to use candlesticks, at least do it like this here. Look at the flow. Why is the flow important? Now, check this out. This is where it gets really, really, really cool, right? That's a major level of support here. We're looking at a 4-hour chart here. You know what? Let's go down to the hourly chart. Ha 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 ha. Actually, let me sink in layout. Let's go back to the hourly chart. This is the Bitcoin, the good old Bitcoin for look at this here, and look at what's happening right now. And what I mean by that is, I'm actually getting my trading pattern. There might be a good short setup for me here. Now, here we go. Check this out. So we have, let's go back to the 4-hour chart here for a minute. So look at this here. Look, see how that sideways movement? Where is the next level? Let's actually clone you. And let's go down to the support level here. Right through there. So looking at this level here, if we do break this level of support, we know this, see this line through here? Massive level of support through there. So if I go down to my hourly chart now, this is the hourly chart. Look what's happening through here. The reason why this is important, guys, is for me as a trader, I don't care where it goes. Oh, I'm not a lover of any market. I don't love gold. I don't love Bitcoin. I don't love the stock market. I love to make money. And if that means I can short Bitcoin and make it move on the downside and make a nice profit, guess what I'm going to be doing? I don't love any market. Don't love any market. Because guess what? It doesn't love you. So go in there, give it a little kiss and a nick off. Especially if you're single. Right? Us men, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. Don't get involved with the women. Right? You know what I'm talking about. Don't get there. Just go out there, date him a little bit, little kissy poo, then run. Before the drama starts. Same in the market, right? If Bitcoin's going to go down, give it a little kissy poo, hold on for a little bit, few dates, and then out of there. All right, guys. So we can see through there. So the reason why I'm bringing this up through here is because if we start to get a break below this level of support, guys, as you can see now, I'm zooming right into this time frame here. If we do get something like this on the downside, this is probably going to have a really big move, right? Really big move on the downside. And all this is, this is the hourly chart. If I go to my weekly chart now, all this is what? It's just how, remember I said before, it's making, and this is the long-term trend, it's making the long-term trend. That's all this is. On the big picture, that's all this is, right? Oh, Bitcoin's not going to go down, John. Okay. Right? But remember, how does a trend actually work? Firstly, when we get too far away from the moving average, guess what happens? We're now overbought. Okay, cool. We're overbought right now, right? This time's different, John. Okay. But also, when the trend is your friend until the end, so how is a trend actually formed? A trend is actually formed by what? A trend is actually formed by market go up and market drop. Oh my goodness, the market's dropping. And then we make a higher low. And then we drop. Oh my goodness, market's dropping. Oh my goodness, it's dropping. Oh my goodness, let's go. No, higher low. The trend is your friend until that's, remember, a drop in the market on a short-term level basis, which what's happening in Bitcoin right now and what could be happening, all that is what? Up, down, higher, low. Up, down, higher, low. Up. This whole thing was what? Just creating another higher low. Up. We could be coming down through to here to guess what? Just to create another higher low. So yes, we can get a few weeks or a month on the downside. Don't get your knickers in a knot. Because remember, it's making the trend. That's how trends are formed. Don't fight it, expect it. This is how markets work. This is how markets operate in the markets here. So anyway, traders, that's it for the actual technical analysis side of things. What I want to do right now is I want to play 2 videos that I've recorded in the last few days. One of them was, the first video I want to talk about is how I've used fear in my life to push me to help me to get to where I am to today. So that's probably going to be the first video. And the second video, which I recorded actually this morning as I'm doing this video for you, the second video is I talk more about my story, about growing up with 5 brothers, 2 sisters. My mum did drugs. My family got split up. I was labeled ADHD. Just so much stuff about my actual true backstory. That's the second video that you're going to see in this here. So I really hope this helps you out there today, guys. Go out there and crush it. See you guys soon. Hey traders, John Howell here. So I want to share something with you that I think is going to really help you when it comes to your own trading and you getting ahead in the markets, right? Becoming a really good trader. I want you to... One of the biggest things that I did early on in my career, again, I've been trading the markets now for 20 years. And one of the things that I did is I used my fear as a motivator to keep going. And one of the things that I still use to this day is that fear. I am fearful, right? I am fearful of going back to $250,000 in debt and not showing how to figure this out. I'm fearful when there's a time there where I ended up going through a divorce. I lost everything, and I was at a shared accommodation place with nothing to my name. I had a mattress on the floor, had a computer, after going through the divorce and thinking, how am I going to get out of this mess, right? And I had to rebuild myself back up. So when I say, when I come to you in a way of trying to help you out when it comes to getting ahead in the markets, there's been 2 times I've been knocked down. The first time was $250,000 in debt, and the second time was going through a divorce and just losing everything. Only about 10 grand to my name, nothing, and then had to put that into a trading account and figure it out. And when it comes to just the mindset and all that sort of stuff. But one of the things that I want to just sort of guide you through this process here is use fear, right? So to this day, every single day, there is this fear. There's this fear little devil in the back of mind, right? And the fear is about I never want to go back. So I need to make sure I'm doing the right things today. Don't slack off. Just because you're doing well, don't slack off. You know what I mean? And it's such a weird dynamic when you are not doing well at all and you're just scraping by, you're fearful of not getting ahead in life, right? And for me, it was in trading, right? Fearful of not actually making money from trading. Then when I started making some good money from trading, then the fear is now I'm going to lose it. It's such a weird dynamic, you know what I mean? And so one of the things that I still do to this day is the fear, right? And I don't just use it for my own trading. I use it for like even spending time with my kids, right? My kids are with me this weekend, and even spending time with my kids, right? It's like, what would happen? How would I feel if I knew that I didn't have that much time on this earth left? Like, what if I knew that, you know? Or what if, the fear of not be able to spend time with my kids as much as I can? You know what I mean? So when I'm with them, the fear of that may be like, what happens if something really bad happens to me and I'm on my deathbed and I won't be able to see my kids grow up as much as I want to, see my kids grow up. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm using the fear. So then when I'm with them, like especially my daughter, I'm like, let me stop and just be present with her for the next half an hour or an hour or whatever. You know what I mean? Let me just be present with her. And that fear helps me within, like, say, for that example, the fear of, like, when it comes down to, like, just everything, right? My business and like even fear, like when it comes to my health, right? So like, for example, back 2008 and 2009, I went through cancer. I had stage 3 lymphatic cancer, and the doctor at that time gave me 6 months to live. And so I didn't go down the path of treatment and so on and so forth. I did it all naturally myself. And so I removed it all naturally myself. Now I'm not going to, I'm no way going to give you advice and that sort of stuff, guys. That was my decision, and it was my choice to go down the path. I did a lot of research, study, and I went down the path of that, and I'm very, very grateful. The purpose of me saying that is that now what I do is I do things throughout the day, things like even meditating, knowing that just to bring my stress down every day. Things like this morning, I spent a lot of time at the beach with the sun. Just bringing that down and bringing my stress levels down so I can really allow my body to reset. Why is that? Because that's one, it's going to help me be more productive. Two, it's just going to allow me just to reset for next week. But then three, I know it's actually really good for my immune system, just to let everything just to relax and settle down, right? So sit in the sun for an hour, relax, meditate, think. So then, because I'm fearful of that, I make sure that I balance myself out when it comes to like even things like that, right? So I really want to. Oh, look at that sun shining down on me. I really want to. I really want to sort of encourage you, and again, the whole thing about this is that use the fear as a motivator of that. And the fear of the motivator could be a lot of things. You know what I mean? It could be a lot of things in your life. It could be like, what happens if I don't get to go on that holiday? What happens if I do pass away and I don't get to go on that holiday that I've always wanted to go on? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I need to do that. You know what I mean? What if I, all this sort of stuff. And so I hope you can see, like, one of the biggest things that I do every day is I utilize that fear, and the fear's like, come on, you know? Let's go, you know what I mean? Like, let's keep going. And again, the fear is, it's a thing that in the context of this here, it helps me in my life, all areas, you know what I mean? It helps me show up every day. The fear of, like, for example, my own personal trading, right? I want to have an amazing trading year this year as I'm doing this recording, right? So I want to have an amazing trading year. So when I'm trading, every time I go to get into a trade that I know is not exactly right, or it's not exactly the trading setup that I look for, I start to get fearful that I'm going to lose money. And so that fear kicks in, and it's like, don't, and then that causes me to have that discipline, right? It's like, because I've been down the path so many times, I've taken the shit trades, the bullshit trades as they call them, right? And it's like, and so because I've gone down trading the markets for 20 years now, and if you do need some help through this whole process, guys, because a lot of things that goes through your own trading, right? There's the systems, the mindset, the management, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of things, right? So if you do need some help, guys, then I've got an inner circle coaching program just open up. If you go to getjohnshelp.com, you can see all the details there. You can apply for that, and you can join. It's just a real small group. There's only about 15 to 20 people in that group per year, so it's a real small group that I take on. So if you're interested in, you need some help, go to that, and I'll talk to you. But the whole thing about, I just want to sort of wrap this video up here with that, like every day. Like, for example, like, the fear is such a big thing with my trading, right? So when I'm trading, if I go to get into a trade that I know is not exactly, there is a fear in me that, what are you doing, John? Like, don't stop lowering your standards. Stop being impatient. Stop being not disciplined, right? Because it takes the discipline to say, no, I'm not going to take a trade today. It takes patience to say, no, I'm not going to take a trade today, because there is no trades. And so the fear in me is like, I don't want to have a losing year this year. So therefore, what do I need to do every day? You know what I mean? And it's even little things like when I don't feel like being consistent and showing up here. Because as a trader, right? As a trader, our job is to show up every day. So the fear in me is that if I don't show up every day, there could be that one really good trade that makes me a lot of money, that grows my trading account. If you go to Get John's Help, you can see my equity curve. And you can see probably right about on the equity curve, if you go to getjohnshelp.com, on the equity curve, you'll be able to see that probably at maybe 40% of the months, that's when I have the biggest spikes, and the rest of the months are pretty flat, maybe slightly down. So I'm fearful that if I don't consistently show up every day for at least an hour, because I only trade half an hour per day, but say an hour maximum, right? I'm fearful that if I don't show up every day, and I'm fearful that if I actually don't consistently show up every day, that one day that I don't show up could be the trade that just gives me an incredible profit. So see what I'm saying here? So I'm utilizing the fear of doing that helps me get up. You know what I mean? And like for example, like, and then on top of everything that I do, like I know there's something big that's going to come in the next 10 years, right? There's maybe depression, who knows, right? In the next 10 years when that whole debt thing really does start to kick in, and we start to change new order and the walls and all, we know there's something really big going to come in the next 10 years. So that fear of seeing that, like, where am I going to be in 10 years? And am I actually going to be in a position that's going to protect myself? You know, one, I need to have money. Two, I need to be able to protect it. So, you know, it's like if I don't have money, then, you know, that. But now I have that. It's like what I need to do to protect it and make sure I keep growing, right? So then this whole thing is that I want you to use your fear as a motivator of all these areas in your life. And I promise you that that little fear devil there is the thing that's going to get you, right? The thing that's going to, like, come on, like you got to keep going. So anyway, guys, hope this helps you out. Have an amazing day. So don't let your past or your current situation deter you from where you can be 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. When I was growing up, I grew up where my dad actually lost his house because of the interest rates went too high at the time, back in the 80s. And what happened was, I had 5 brothers, 2 sisters. So 7 kids, mum and dad, 9 people, and we lived in a 3-bedroom government-assisted house. And when we were in this government-assisted house, my dad ran his own business to try to pay the bills and get ahead for like 9 people, right? It's like, can you imagine that? Like all the stress on my dad there. But on 9 people there, what ended up happening was that we actually moved to an area that my mum started getting involved with drugs again, because she was in drugs when she was younger, hanging around the wrong people. She stole like $50,000 from my dad, was all the savings that my dad had from running his business, which by the way he had to pay taxes from, and so on and so forth. And my mum was forging checks and stole a lot of money from my dad and basically put it in her arm, and she got into drugs. And what happened is the electricity got cut off because my mum wasn't actually paying the electricity. And so what happened was, at that time, we actually got split up from a family. So half our brothers and sisters went to, we got split up between grandparents, right? So half to my mum's mum and dad, and then half to my dad's mum and dad, right? And we stayed there for a few years. Mum went to rehab, dad lived by himself, and that's the way that we actually grew up from, right? And then at the exact time, I personally was labeled ADHD, right? Because I couldn't get in ahead, and I didn't understand school, and I was always academically dumb, and I couldn't actually get it, you know, which is quite weird because I was quite dumb and they labeled ADHD. But then my younger son, who is 12 going on 13 going on 14, he's smart, but he just hates school. So then they label him ADHD, then I got bloody drug him, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so the purpose of me telling you that is that was my background. And if you've been following me for quite some time now, and you know, and if you see my actual trading sort of growth and my education that I can show you by presenting that sort of stuff to you, and again, and you know, again, if you'd like to see my actual real equity curve for all of 2024, you can do that by go to getjohnshelp.com. That's also an application to my coaching program if you're interested in doing that. But you can actually see my real equity curve there. You can see that I'm a good trader now, and I do really well from trading now. But my background was that. I am, and this is where, like, I think a lot of people who actually do like universities and tapes and so on and so forth, and people that are really smart, that actually gets in your own way. Because now it's like me being dumb is actually the thing that actually helped me get ahead in the markets. It's so weird. It's like people, and the reason I'm saying that is that because my mentor said, this is the pattern to follow, this is where you can get results. And then all I had to do is understand that to understand that, right? But academically smart people, they want to take a system that works and then they want to add some other stuff to it, right? You take a delicious banana cake and start to throw some pineapples and oranges and some strawberries in it. It's like, this now tastes like a rainbow cake. You know what I mean? It tastes like a whole bunch of shit, right? So the purpose of me doing this video for you is that was my background. So if you've been following me now for quite some time now, you know through my educational process, through the stuff that I teach you, that I'm a good trader now and I do really well from the markets now, but I don't want that. If you come from a bad background, right? And if you come from a background where, it's, and again, it was who you're hanging around with, like I hated school and so on and so forth. And I don't care if you're going through, family split up or you're dumb, academically smart, or you've been almost bankrupt, which I was $250,000 in debt and bankrupt. There's so much out there, and the current situation that you're in right now, it won't be like that forever, right? But what you can do is, once again, but you need to start to actually, for me, the best thing I did is I started investing in education, right? And started I want to get out of this hole, right? So I knew I had to go invest in people who've already done it to shortcut my curve. Thank God I did that, because my mentor, who I've been with now for 10 years, has shortcutted. What's taken him 30 years to figure out is now taking me, it's now the reason why I've been with him for 10 years, right? And it took me, instead of taking me 30 years to figure it out like he did, it took me, maybe 2 or 3 years to really start to gain it. That's the reason why I do coaching, right? Because I take what's taken me 20 years to condense it down into, say 1 year, because I do a whole year worth of coaching with people there. Again, if you're interested in that, go to getjohnshelp.com, or there should be a link in the description there. But the purpose of me doing this video for you guys is that's where I grew up from. So please, sometimes the best thing that I had to do was retreat from everyone, even to this day. Retreat from family, retreat from these people, retreat. Because it's hard, right? It's hard. And you don't want to be listening to these people that say, who do you think you are? And you're not smart. And what sort of degrees do you have behind you? And blah, 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 blah. All this bunch of bullshit. But go anyway. Go anyway. Because I promise you, if you keep going, if you keep pushing forward and you keep going, right? And you keep getting help, keep getting mentoring so you can keep getting better, right? Don't just keep doing the same shit over and over again, because you won't get better, right? So buy some courses, get some education. If you want to go to the top, get some actual investing real good money into actual proper coaching, right? And then I promise you that, like me, academically dumb, my qualification was a laboring job. That's it. My qualifications. And I promise you, if you give it a bit of time, 3, 4, 5 years, a decade, I promise you, 2, 3, 4, 5 years and a decade in the future, your life, you could be part of the 1%. 1% income, 1% freedom, then that gives you the chances to spend time on what you want to do, health, and so on and so forth. Never give up and keep going. And I don't care what your story is, you can do this.